welcome to Reads Spider-Man Crawl Space Edition. Check us out at the SpidermanCrawlspace.com. Well, everybody, of course, I'm here to review the movie of Amazing Spider-Man number 2, of course, by Joe Kelly and, of course, Pepe Lazara as we get into this part here. So, what did the second issue of Joe Kelly's new run on this team here? Well, let's go ahead and get into the pros, shall we? Well, first of all, I have to say the action was really good. There's a really a lot of sort of like a destruction and dread. It actually does feel very Spider-Man at the beginning of this story, as we actually have him deal with the aftermath of the toxic attack that was done with him. I also really do enjoy the little piece of Roderick Kingsley as a Hobgoblin and the mysterious villain, who of course we'll find out by the end of this issue who it is, as they go to, because you really want to know what is Kingsley really up to. I mean, he's this guy for several years was going from pretending to update different people into different supervillains to getting back in the game himself, and now he's kind of released and put on that part of Norman Osborn as kind of having the things as the Hobgoblin, but also doing a lot of corporate. It really adds a really nice little mystery of what here. I've also liked the thing about what is Peter's new job. The fact that he is now working with the Rand Applied Science Disciplinary Study Group is actually a genetic engineering company, which is kind of do it definitely deals with the now and also a lot of bioorganic too. And I like the fact they do the environmentals and everything else. And I really do like the fact is it's definitely a cool little job for Peter to have, even though we probably won't have it. I also am actually liking more as we get into everything with Brian and a little bit more Peter's middle school age, because believe it or not, that's a time we really has not been touched upon. It's been touched on very, very briefly by writers such as J.M.D. Matias and Tom DeFalco, a little bit of Roger Stern, a little bit of Peter Allen David, but we've never really got into it and seeing Peter causing the troublemakers. Many people don't seem to understand. During the very early days of Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, Peter was kind of self-absorbed. He kind of did everything. So, that's why he got treated with puny Parker and all that was the reason why, because he kind of acted a little stuck up and he thought he was a little bitter before he became Spider-Man. And it definitely reads to it. And speaking of Norman Osborn, I do like this kind of end here going on with Norman as we're getting more of him trying to help Peter, especially after he gets toxic, but also seeing that despite everything they did, the Green Goblin is still there and still just waiting to come out. And actually, believe it or not, it actually leaves us. We're waiting for this ticking time bomb to go off. But that's kind of where we go into this. So the biggest thing here is not only about Peter's job, which let's face it, this isn't going to be done here, but the fact that Joe Kelly tries to do him here, where he tries to use modern slang right here with the panel with, oh, I see you're trying to rizzing the boss. That's just as bad as when Baron Zemo and Nonstop Spider-Man said that's hot. This is, it's just the Riz. This like, oh, hey, that's hot back in Nonstop Spider-Man. Joe Kelly is trying to be with the current lingo because he saw it maybe on Instagram or TikTok and kind of do it. It's just as bad as what was happening during the Black Cat storyline a couple years ago with some of the language and some of the fall flat jokes. Yeah, stop trying to do it. Figure out, especially somebody like Peter and even Brian are in their late 20s. They're not going to be talking about Riz or Sigma or anything else like that. That's just not working. It's basically a guy trying to be relevant with current lingo. Also, speaking of that, too, is as we get into Peter's issues, the fact that, Norman, when he goes to it, says, oh, you got to take off work right now. He just got this job, and Peter is, of course, doing enough. Granted, Norman helps get the toxic out of him and everything to help him, but at the same time, we're going back to Peter's basically getting himself set up to lose a job yet again. Another thing is also the supporting of the pieces. The fact that we have everything going on over here with Shay at Ravenscroft, as Ravenscroft has kind of been pushed back into this kind of feel. The problem is Peter's supporting cast is, we had Ashley Kafka, who of course is now the Queen Goblin. Um, after Norman Osborn's sins ruined him and everything else, and the fact that we're going to do this. And the truth is, it's trying to keep Shay as a relevant character, and why I kind of get the little point of it. It kind of feels part. And also another thing else is we're finding out more about Peter's back. We find about him stealing and doing something, and it's understandable. I can understand Peter at that age, kind of like I'm living with two people older than me. I've lost my parents. He's in that weird early teenage years as a seventh grade. So he's about 12, 13 here. And basically he's rebelling. You can understand it, but the way this has not been talked and everything, or the fact that how the toxin is actually bothering Peter to see these flashbacks, it's almost like they're heavy-handedly saying there's something not good with Peter finding his old long-lost friend here. I do like the ending that we all saw it coming, that Itsy Bitsy is the mysterious villain that's helping Roderick Kingsley, and also the fact, given her powers and everything, it makes sense. And considering the fact that Joe Kelly created the character back in Spider-Man Deadpool, it's got enough personal connection with them, and the fact that she's been there here. So it actually works here in the fact that they decide to reveal the real hand about who the mysterious bad guy is, but leave enough for us to wonder what is Roderick Kingsley really trying to accomplish, and what does it really have to do with Spider-Man's rogues galleries, which they talk about, and why is it affecting Peter the way it is with the toxic? It's a nice little setup and everything, and honestly, it's not a bad issue, and believe it or not, I have to give it a B here. It's actually not bad, outside some of the modern lingo with the language and some of the storylines, and the fact that we kinda saw this coming up here with some of the flashbacks, as well as Itsy Bitsy being the villain and everything else that's causing this too. It doesn't leave to the mystery. It's okay. It's not bad. It's enjoyable, but, we're hoping for something on this too, so it gets a B from me. And with that, everybody else too, I hope that you like here. If you like what you see here, please think of liking or subscribing to the channel or doing the same over to the spidermancrawlspace.com. And of course, you can go ahead and head over there and join us on all our various platforms on the web, Discord, Instagram, Twitch, and more. And for more information, definitely check out and subscribe. And with that, everybody else, I'll see everybody later on the crawl space.